Hello and welcome to this podcast edition of Sam's Alternatives, episode 18. I'll be chatting to New Age, who are in the lobby right now. Call that perfect timing. I'll let them in and we'll get this started. Hello, Graham. Oh, don't know what's happened to your volume. I can see you but can't hear you.
There we go, there.
Ah, now I can hear you perfectly.
Hey, how you been, all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, Graham. Yourself?
Yeah, great. Yeah, just going over a new song at the moment, Liz and I. Yeah, Cole's not with us today.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah,
It's all good.
yeah.
Hey, Liz,
Hey,
good to
Sam.
see you again.
You
Let's
too? How are you?
let's hope this interview works this time.
So, yeah,
Just hit record, Sam.
Yeah, I've hit record. It's in my computer, the file, when it gets finished. So I'm hoping, touch wood, there's no wood in my house here at the moment, but touch wood, it works.
That'll work.
I just hit the light on, so I don't know if that's brighter for you or not.
Is that better with the light on or off?
Oh, it's fine either way. I can see you both perfectly. Your audio is perfect as well, so there's no issues.
You don't want to see the pimples.
No, you don't want to see my bald spot. Oh no, it's at the back. You're right. You won't see my bald spot. No, but for those that don't know, Liz and Graham are both members of Melbourne Power Pop Rock, alternative, nearly every genre in the music industry, called New Age. It's great to have you on again. I had a great time last time, but
Same here. Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was funny.
yeah,
Is
yes,
this a recording or is this just the test file?
it's recording.
Okay.
What did Sam do last time? I called Cole for like an hour, and then I got picked up on it.
Yeah, so good.
We let you go for a while, so yeah.
Bit embarrassing, Sam. How many interviews have you done? About 100, and you stuffed up Cole and Kyle. I don't know how I worked that out, but anyway.
You've been flat out, haven't you?
Yeah. And it's only going to get busier, actually. I've just looked at May and June. So this worked in perfectly because I've got a split shift. I don't have to go to work for another hour and a half, so there's plenty of time to work this in beautifully. So, but yeah. But yeah, heaps going on. Sorry I couldn't make it to the show the other week because damn.
There'll be plenty more.
Yes, we've got a few coming up. So it was good because that was the introduction for our new bass player, Susie. Bass player now. As you know, last time we spoke to him at the lead of the band, but he's filling in until we've got a replacement. So, it was good because Susie jumped on board straight away. She loved the stuff, and she just about knows all the set now, which is great.
And I like the two female members of band, like two females in a band. I think it works really well.
Yeah, I agree. I prefer having another female up there with it.
Yeah,
Good balance.
yeah, actually a good cat fight sometimes. No, but that's the old saying, in 2 minutes. Both of them are stress free, man. That's great. Both of them are.
Because I'm trying to think.
Stresses in the band.
Yeah.
So,
No, if you're all on the same page and you all get along, that's the main thing in the music industry and in a band as well.
right,
No, absolutely, because we spend a lot of time together. Yeah. So the energy flows really nice, and yeah, like having another chick, it's great balance.
Because I could be wrong, and I'm trying to think of many other Australian bands that at the moment are doing really well that have two female members in them. And at the moment, in my genre, I could only think of 3 other bands outside of New Age. Now, I could be wrong. There could be many that I've missed, but for me, it's Vilify, The Beautiful Monument, and who was the other band? Ultraviolet are the only three that I'm aware of that have two female members in them. Now,
Okay.
there could be
Yeah.
more, but
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of bands have really jumped on board with female vocalists. You know, the females have really come out front a lot. So there's a lot of bands looking for female vocalists now. So it must be a new turn in the music industry for instead of having all males, which is good. You know, the plan was when we were going to do the new lineup, I said to Carl, I said, look, it'd be great to have two females up in the band. I'll take the back seat with you know, move back, give up the vocals, and have us two females up front. So, you know, we started off like that, but then Sharon ended up leaving for other projects she was in. And so that's when we got a male bass player. So we were in a hurry to get back on the road. So, but unfortunately with Teddy, he fell ill, and now Susie's come on board, and it worked out good. So they got back two females back out front. I'll stick my head out every now. Yeah.
no,
What's that?
no. Well, I've got a little bit of a surprise for everyone as well because not only tomorrow's episode is going to feature both Graham and Liz interview, but I've actually got a special treat for people at the end of the interview that I'll be adding to the YouTube episode. So we're actually going to hear Crazy at the end of the interview tomorrow, which will
Yeah.
be awesome. Just a bit of a sneak peek.
Yeah. So that's our next release, which will be hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I'm just waiting for the OK at the moment. So for the mainway music. So yeah, um, we just released Direction, which is an old lineup. That's we've got 5 albums out at the moment, with all different lineup through the years. As you know, like we spoke last time, band's been going since '82. So we signed up with Laneway Red Music, and we've got a heap of stuff out on Spotify and stuff. So yeah, it's and the single at the moment, Wise Man's going really well. We're really happy with it.
Nah, I actually went and listened to Direction before this interview and also the EP with Wise Men. Just like I know I listened to it before, and I always like to do the thing where I listen to the band's EP, album, latest single, whatever it may be, the day of the interview,
Yeah,
so it's sort of fresh in my
yeah,
mind.
yeah.
And
We've got a. Sorry, go on here.
oh, sorry. I really enjoyed Direction. I had a really good listen to it, and I was digging that as much as the other stuff, really.
Yeah. We got a live one from Ukraine when we toured Ukraine. So that's a set that's similar with a lot of the repertoire we're playing, but we've dropped a few out of that set. But it's rearranged to a sort of like a tour sort of set. So it's pretty sort of tight, and yeah, I'm quite happy with the sound of that album too. So yeah.
And for those that don't know, it says on your Spotify bio um, area that very similar or likened to bands like the Stooges, the Clash, bit of Zeppelin, and I
Yeah.
love that sort of mixture of bands being likened to.
Well, very influenced by a lot of the early punk rock. So, and even before, and Cole's influence like you know, like with Zeppelin and Purple stuff. We all grew up with that sort of that sound and love. So it's come out in the music. So yeah, yeah. You can't. I like the old heavy metal. You can't really call it heavy metal. It's sort of just heavy rocks, all the classic, really. You know, Zeppelin were awesome, man. You know, and Purple, and just goes on. The list just goes. I was just listening to Budgie before we come on air here. You know, so they were a great three-piece band. You know, very sort of solid for a three-piece. A lot of influences from the early days. You know, so and today's influence too. So the best thing is I like to listen to a lot of different styles of music. You know, so, so
Nah.
I was talking to Lizzie before. I said, I put on something real soft in the background earlier. I said, well, we're just going over some of our new stuff. And I said, that's why I pull away from playing a lot of heavy stuff on YouTube. That's all I watch. I don't watch TV, YouTube. And just listen to stuff, noise of different bands. So it gets you away from all that headbanging sort of thing. All the time you're playing it, you listen to it, yeah. So yeah, it's a different out of it, you know.
Yeah, look, I do love my headbanging music, but sometimes I
Yeah,
just have to step away and go, I need something a bit more chilled, a bit more alternative or indie or some
yeah,
sort of music like that. Like like headbanging's good, but it's not good for the
mm,
mind 24
uh,
7.
yeah. I listen to a lot of what do you call it, the meditations. There's like, like water sort of trickling in the background, or the flute, Indian flutes and stuff. A lot of Asian sort of, you know, laid back sort of, really just
Calm your mind.
But I also
and then
think the other thing is if you like all the same music 365 days a year, like if you just said, I'm going to listen to prog rock for
mm,
365 days a year, I think as much as I love prog rock and prog metal, after about day 10, I'd probably say, nah, need to move on to another style of music.
yeah, yeah. Well, you know, you won't sleep much, okay? You're consistently on the go, you know. It's
Yeah,
good.
nah.
But it's good to just chill out, you know. Like, you need an outlet from what you're doing too. So, you know, I find like, you know, last week was a pretty stressful week, and I didn't pick up the guitar. So, but Friday night I couldn't sleep, so I got up 1 o'clock in the morning and just sort of just chilled out on the guitar, and I come up with a new riff and song. So, uh, for me, when I don't pick it up all the time, I come up with something fresh. So, you know, I just record it on the track I've got here. So, and I just keep that in the background for when I'm ready for it. So, but yeah, just to have something that just put you at ease, good music. So, good. Yeah.
No, totally agree. And sometimes, depending on work schedules and other things that are going on, sometimes it's just
Yeah.
best to pick up a guitar or pick up a piece of paper and start writing down lyrics
Yeah.
or song ideas, whatever it may be.
Well, I like to share the writing. So, thing is, with me, I'm managing at the band at the moment. Like, if one of the guys comes up with a gig, we look at it and say, oh yeah, but I go and do all the talking for the band because no one wants to do it. So, you know, I don't mind doing it. So, so I'm always on the computer, you know, sending emails and finding work, and you get a lot of knockbacks, and you know, you just got to keep consistently going, and your mind's always going. So that's why I had a restless sleep the other night, because like I sent like five or six emails, and we're just waiting on replies for shows at the moment. So well, we've got a couple coming up in July. So but yeah, it's just full on
the full-time
Yeah.
job in itself,
Yeah.
just behind the scenes for G.
Yeah.
Trying to organise everything.
And doing a daytime job too gets a bit
Makes it hard.
stressful. So you're always wired up, and then I'm writing songs, and we're rehearsing, like we had a rehearsal yesterday. Um, Especially now it's with Susie in the band, we sort of took a back step to get the repertoire to where it was before. Some tight now,
Yeah.
so and you always consistently going, So it's all well worth it. So,
And if you've got the love and the passion for being in a band and doing what you're doing, then
yeah,
that's the main thing. It's not
yeah,
about, like I've said this a million times, like it's if you were in it for the money, then it's not the right
yeah,
job.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, so many bands could be well known around Australia, around the world, and still have
mm,
to work day jobs, as Graham mentioned
yeah,
there, to make a living and pay the bills and pay for equipment hire and do all that.
yeah. Well,
It's
we were lucky because I'm a good saver. So if we make whatever we get out of the gig, I put that in our account. So that last EP, we paid our gig money. So whatever we made out of the shows, we saved up for it. So now we're in the process of saving up for maybe a clip or some merchandise or the next EP or whatever for next year. So we're aiming for next year now. So,
good.
and the other week we did a gig in the Boogeyman, the one before we asked you to come down. And, Jack, like, great venue, right? Jack's loves us, we love her. And she goes, "Oh, Graham, here's your money for the night, like this or something. If you
Oh,
just put it in the bar, just put it on the bar. Next time we come down, get a free drink, you
yeah.
know. We're not going to benefit much for $40, you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, yeah. So, but it was a love of it, and it was an enjoyable playing.
We had a great time,
Yeah,
and she's always supporting original bands and
Yeah.
live music, and it's a really great venue to play at.
Yeah.
And for us, it's a night out, and we're
Yeah.
playing, and it's just mad. We have a mad time.
So if you ever get a
Oh,
chance,
good.
go down there to Huddersfield there. It's a good little pub, and it's got a good vibe. A lot of bands play there.
Yeah.
So she's always been supportive towards new age, so in the early days. So Ross and yeah.
And I think we forget, like, things can still go wrong at gigs, but if you've got a venue that is supportive of local and upcoming bands and
Yeah.
loves supporting these
Yeah.
bands, things will go a lot more smoother. And I've seen some really good venues with really good owners, and you just feel like if you're a band
Mm.
or you're a punter and you're going into that venue, within half a minute, probably not even that, probably 20 seconds, you realize, fuck, this is a great place to play as a band, but
Yeah.
as a punter as well. And that's very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, it's got a good energy in the place. We did a gig there last year or something, and I didn't bring my spare guitar. I broke a string. Ross was straight on with it, He picks up a spare guitar. He goes, "Here you go, and bang, start tuning on my Ross again, So there's no need to, I've got to put a string on, 'Cause normally I don't break many strings, but the night I did. So, yeah, it was just. Yeah, it's good like that, So not many venues do that, So, but it's good when they supply everything there for you, the back line or whatever. So, like I say, the energy you walk in the park, but there's a lot of good venues opening up and out there that have got a good atmosphere for bands and punters, But we do the sports. It's quite a lot. So, to do again. So, that's a good day go for like a Sunday for us, you know. We're trying to get into a night spot there at the moment, so yeah, so
And I mean, in Melbourne, there's that many venues, and these venues have to keep up their momentum because there's just
yeah,
competition everywhere you look.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You know, it's different back to what it used to be. Like now, you've got to, someone want to guarantee so many people. And it is hard to guarantee 100 people. You know, you can get 3 or 4 bands together, and you might get close to that. You know, so it depends on where you live. So
Nah.
unless you're at a different level, so yeah,
And since
yeah,
COVID as well, I think that sort of changed the game as well, as much as I didn't want to mention that word ever again. But
um,
Yeah, it definitely has
yeah.
been quite a big impact.
You know, that'll be one of our singles. I don't understand. It's all about that sounds of filling off everyone else. So yeah,
because I had this
so
very conversation with someone at a gig actually on Friday night about you know, a lot of these venues, some of them are struggling to stay open since
yeah,
COVID finished and all that. And I said to him, like, I've mentioned to some friends like from Warragul and Gippsland, and I've said there's so many great gigs happening down in Melbourne, and it's the fact that some of them keep saying it's too much to pay for a ticket or it's too far to travel, and I just said it's only an hour and a half by train, less
yeah,
depending if it's direct or stops all stations.
yeah,
And I mean, a lot of these bars like Boogeyman Bar, like Leadbeater, like Bad Decisions, so many of these bars put on gigs that are $15, $20 for 4 bands.
yeah. That's good value.
Yeah, it's great value.
Yeah, when we play, we charge like $10 for 3 bands.
Yeah,
Oh, see
You
that,
know, so,
like,
yeah,
I would be happy to pay $30 for 3 bands. Like,
mm,
that's what I would do,
yeah.
but I guess it's sort
But
of the, you got to weigh it up.
then,
Is
yeah,
yeah,
then you go to some venues, right? They'll charge you $25, $30 at the door, and you're watching a tribute band, which is good, right? I'm not a Tavis person, but like where yeah, it's up to everyone. But I've always been original, like listening to original. Um, but like uh, $25 is all right to go see a band.
yeah. I get, and if you're not from Melbourne, like if you're from regional, then you got to factor in if you're driving, petrol,
Yeah,
e-tags, parking,
yeah.
whatever else.
Then the drinks on top and food,
Yeah,
you know. So it's not a cheap night really. So I believe what 3 bands, $10 a head, you know. And the good thing about it too, we all bands like we do is we invite someone, we don't have for nothing for a certain, especially VIP or whatever. Um, and like we know if you're coming from a fair way distance, it's costing you time, money to get there. Why would you want to pay $25? And that time, you've got to look at things like that too. So, and I believe if you put a lower price at the door tab, brings more people in, and you're going to make the money anyway. The bar's going to make their money, drinks, and you've got more of an atmosphere because everyone knows, you know, that they're going to have a good night because the drinks are reasonable price. You got in for X amount of dollars, and
the fans are getting exposure at the
yeah,
end of the day, so that's really important.
no. Any band getting
yeah,
any exposure from any venue in Melbourne or interstate is super important because
Yeah. And
it's hard as a
Mm.
band, not that Sam would have any experience of being in a band or knowing how hard it is, but lots of mates are in bands and you just see some of them work and just get knocked back. And it's just like, it's really sad
Yeah.
because these are good bands, good people, and they're getting knocked back.
yeah.
Well, yeah, we knocked back the two shows last year. I looked Sunday afternoon, and they want to guarantee of 100 people on a Sunday afternoon at $15 a head. And I said, no, I'm not going to charge $15 a head. Can't guarantee 100 people on a Sunday afternoon. You know, they got to drive X amount, all over. Like, make it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do,
That's
do it
even
free,
great.
do it free. You get money over the bar. Whatever money we get, over the bar, that's cool with us too. So, um, I prefer to have no price on the door and have a full
Yeah.
house.
The party vibe.
Yeah,
100%.
then charge X amount of dollars and only have 30 people.
100%.
So,
And also, not just the drinks part of it, there might be, like most venues that I know in Melbourne, also have food options. So, like, you could get a pizza or you can get a burger or a parma. So, you
Yeah.
add the
yeah.
food part in with the drinks, you'd get
Yeah.
enough out of it.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so like we're doing a show at the Music Land in July. We're booked in on the 5th there, and that's a great atmosphere there too. They've got food, drinks, front stage, backstage, we're in the back room. Um, so you can do anything you want, which is great. You want to go at the front, you go at the front. You want to go at the back, you got food, and that's what you need more places like that too.
They get a decent crowd,
Yeah.
because they've got a variety of bands.
Yeah.
It's got a good vibe.
The way they work is they have the tribute bands up the front main stage and all the originals in the back. Room. It's called
Thanks, Bar.
Blues Bar.
So yeah, they accommodate
Yeah.
everybody.
And it's good. If you want to watch covers, you go watch them. If you want the originals, you go up the back room, which is good.
Yeah.
It's got a good end too.
I think that's one venue in Melbourne I've never been to, Musicland. Like, I've been to a lot, but I've never been there before. So I'll have to
Come
check
down
it
and
out. I
you know,
will.
on the door.
So 5th of July.
Yeah.
I don't think I've got anything on the 5th of July. I got something.
Oh, you have now. You
I have now. I've got
Yeah.
something on.
Yeah.
I've got something on the 6th of July, but not the 5th. So that's
Yeah.
worked in beautifully.
Yeah. There's only there's a train up just not far from there too, so you can, or just ring us up and we'll pick you up.
Uh,
Yeah.
no, well, that's
Don't
covered
get out
me.
of this one, Sammy.
No, I can't now. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, 5th of July. Keep free, Sam. No excuses.
Yeah, we love performing there as well.
We introduce you to our new bass players.
Yeah.
Susie, yep. And introduce me to Cole, not Kyle,
Yeah.
Sam.
And Susie's got 30 years experience herself.
Yeah.
She's
That's
come
all.
from a metal background. She's a music teacher. She's really switched on. So
Yeah.
she's a bonus for us as well.
I think she's from Montreal too, I think. And she lives in Montana at the moment.
Oh, yep.
I think she might be a Warren. Yeah. Because I said to her when I was living in Ireland. So,
Well, when I saw the picture of her on New Age's Facebook page, I was like, that face looks somewhat familiar. And I couldn't put my finger on where I'd seen her, but if she's been, as Lizzie said, 30 years in the music industry, there's every chance I probably have crossed paths and not even realised who Susie was.
Yeah.
So, no, she worked out good. Look. She's happy.
Mm.
All right. Well, we're going to start the interview, and it's going to sound weird because this has been answered before, but it wasn't uploaded. But but
Well, yeah.
Lizzie and Graham, pretty much the gist of it is I'll ask a few questions about New Age, and then at the end, Lizzie and Graham have the floor, so the tables get turned around, and
That's right.
and this episode, I can guarantee you, will be up probably this time tomorrow afternoon, maybe a bit earlier. Just depends if I'm working a full shift tonight or a shortened shift. If it's shortened, it might even be up 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, but sometime tomorrow at the latest mid-afternoon. So
So, Seneca, I checked if you press recording.
I have pressed record.
I checked.
I'm
No,
never.
you recorded it last time because it went into your file, so you obviously recorded it.
Yeah, so
Probably just- yeah.
I'm gonna never live that down, am I? After that, I just loved Graham's comment after I'd sent the message through. He said, "Did you actually press record?" I was thinking, I'm hoping I pressed record because that would have been embarrassing for someone who's done what 17 episodes of WebEx and can't even press record.
Well, there was a reason for it. So,
Yeah, it's all good. Now,
we're back again.
that's
Yeah.
it. Now they get crazy, so like that's just the bonus.
And I loved every minute of last time, and I'm already enjoying this. So yeah, it's I love New Age, and I'm so glad Glenn Fogwell from Shotgun Mistress put me onto New Age. If people are wondering how I actually stumbled across New Age, Glenn does a lot of these
Thank you.
radio
They're
promos.
a great band too. They're great.
Yeah, no, he's a,
Yeah, because he does the promos for ARP, yeah.
that's the one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen Glenn in quite a while. We've spoken through Messenger and Hotmail and that, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen Glenn in about 9 months. It's actually quite a long time, so might have to catch up with him one day when he's free.
Yeah, I think they're always so busy. That band's really good.
Mm. I love their music, Shotgun, and it's awesome to see they're getting some pretty big support slots. Winger and Mammal last year, which was awesome to see. Audio Rain, a few other bands they supported, which, yeah.
They're good shows. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm getting a show for Stockholm.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Now, who was telling me last week? Dan from Volume Dealer, another podcast, actually was telling me that Ben, I think from Shotgun Mistress, is actually from Bensdale or Lakes Entrance. And
Okay.
I'm thinking Warrigal's got nothing on Bensdale or Lakes Entrance. That's even further.
Yeah. That's a distance away, isn't it? Yeah.
It's
Bensdale's
almost.
a nice town. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Nice,
like
yeah.
Bensdale, Lakes Entrance, any part of that way. Stratford, Orbost, all nice places. All right. Well, how did the band form New Age?
Back in '82. Yeah. I left the band called The Fam, and I was playing bass at the time, and I continued. Just I made up with a couple of guys I met. We used to hang out at Crystal Boy and in St Kilda, which was a punk venue back in those days. And yeah, we just sort of got together and started playing, and me and Carlos started writing. We had a good combination in writing together. And then that went for a few years, to '85, I think it was. And we got a white, we got Mushroom wanted to sign us up white label, and I refused to sign because of the experiences I went with the previous band, and that broke that lineup up. So because they said, well, the point was continuing, but we're not signing no record deal. So I sort of walked away from everything for a few years, and then got back, created a page again, a couple of friends, drummer from my band, and I was always buddies, and a friend of mine, Kerry, he was on bass at the time, and I went to guitar, and I've been on guitar ever since. So yeah, and sort of developed to where we are today. Yeah, so a couple of lineup changes, and 4 or 5 albums later, yeah. But this time, if we get a record deal, I'll sign
Yeah,
it.
it's
I made at the time because the start what we were going through, we got ripped off. We worked consistently 6, 7 nights a week, touring a lot. We did Countdown, we did all the big shows and big tours with like the Ramones, Spaniels, all these bands we were touring with, and we're overworked, and we were making lots of money, but we weren't seeing the benefits of it. And that sort of gave me a stale way of looking at the industry at the time. I didn't quite, wasn't focusing, and the offer a new age, and I said, no, I'm not interested. You guys can sign, but I'm not going to help. And there was a good lineup too. So, but now this lineup here is, it's matured. It sounds matured. A strong unit, so we'll think the same, and it's good.
no 43 years. That's a long time for a band to be around.
I'm not even that old.
I wasn't even alive in 1982. That shows how young I am, but I wasn't far off. 80s. It was a pretty big decade, the 80s, too. Like, there was a lot of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good to go through. There's so much work, so much happening in the live industry. Music was great, Yeah. Then the 90s it sort of quieted down a bit for what it is today.
and now it's sort of a renaissance here in the Aussie scene. The 2010s to now, I mean, so many bands are making it big, both here in Australia but overseas, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're going to see what happens in the next few years, but I reckon for us, I reckon like we could do well in Germany or something like that, because I get a spreadsheet from a lane way of red, and a lot of our stuff gets played over in Germany and France and that part of Europe. And even the USA. Um, so I believe, maybe we get the opportunity in Germany to go for us. We'll see how it goes. Couple of years.
Yeah, the Germans seem to love the Aussie bands. Oh,
Yeah,
so do Europe, actually, come to think
yeah.
of it. But
It's like when we did Ukraine. Anyway, was probably one of the first bands that toured there as a free piece, and man, I tell you, they just loved it. Did 2 weeks out there, and every show was one was better than the next show. It was just great. So that's why we put out that album as live at the Ukraine. So
yeah,
it's pretty
that's.
cool.
Uh, oh, yeah, because I read that on your Spotify bio as well. That one of the only bands to have ever played Ukraine. That's pretty special.
It is, yeah. We did this show at one venue, and they had it off the back board was all just signed from bands all over the world. And they said to us, "Can you sign this wall?" Because you're the only Australian band that's played here. And I said, yeah, definitely, yeah. And we signed it, we put New Age in big capital letters and our names underneath. Yeah, it was an honour, you know.
Mm.
They were great people. I just hope that pub's still up after that war, you know.
Mm.
Some good sessions out there with some, they love their vodka and that, so yeah, so
Those are the
harmless.
those are the
Yeah.
memories you remember, or the gigs you remember if you played them. I mean, yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
special. And I love the whole thing about doing New Age, signing it, and all in capital letters, so it's there for
Yeah.
everyone to seize. Yeah.
You put it right in the middle of the board, yeah, the wall there, so you can see it. So yeah, it's great.
Because one day, like if that pub does get a big name band like from Australia or overseas, and they say, "Oh, who have you had play this pub?" or "Who was the first band?" People look up at the wall and go, "See that band up there? They're from Melbourne, New Age. They were the first Aussie
Yeah,
band to play this pub in Ukraine."
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think Kerry wrote down Melbourne, Victoria too, so Australia. So yeah, we put AU and Melbourne, or just part Melbourne, Vic, you know. So um, just
Yeah, because I was going to say, I think there's a Melbourne in Florida in the US, or somewhere in the US there's a Melbourne.
yeah.
I think Sam's geographic knowledge is not very good. I know it's somewhere in the States. I probably got the state wrong, but it's in the US somewhere, Melbourne.
Yeah, it is.
Uh,
Yeah. So yeah, the question is, yeah, back in the '80s too, and then developed to where we are today. Yeah, so, yeah, it's been a good.
mm. All right. What
Mm,
has the overall response been like for Wise Men? We did hear a bit of it a bit earlier on in the interview, but overall response has been good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it actually has.
yeah,
Had some really good reviews by some good music magazines. And we're happy with it ourselves. We actually are stoked while it's doing.
the recording, we're happy with the recording.
That was done at Refinery Studio. James Lee did that, and yeah, he did a brilliant. So
Yeah,
props to James.
and still on Spotify and
Yeah,
that, a couple other sites. So um, yeah, it's we're happy all round, and just a bit more exposure. Like we're pushing it slowly, but now we're on the next release. That's sort of like an introduction to it.
yeah,
Glenn picked that one from how the file we recorded. Maybe because of the time was close to Christmas. I thought, well, maybe Wise Man will be a good choice for coming up to Christmas. So, so now, the next one, and hopefully do a lot better.
No. And so obviously Crazy will be on the YouTube episode, but also I have thrown in a few other um, new age songs into my Spotify playlist. So I think this is the most songs any band has actually had on an episode or in a Spotify playlist. I think you've got 4 in there. So Crazy and then 3 in the Spotify playlist. So I think Wise
Oh,
Men's in there. I need my Spotify playlist in front of me, which I don't have, but
yeah,
there's definitely
yeah,
3 songs.
no, thank you. Yeah,
yeah.
it's yeah, I've got my own like I said, playlist. I've got friends of mine on my playlist, so we all support each other. So we've got New Age and we've got their bands. So, we share it all around, so everyone's in the free play, So, um, but yeah, I appreciate that. So the more play, the better. So, and
Yeah.
especially like yourself, you do a lot of bands out there, and appreciates the hard work you put in. So yeah,
Absolutely.
It's
right.
just like I don't want to sound like this is a negative, but there's almost too much for me to keep up with in the local scene at the moment. And look, if bands are watching this, please don't take that as I think it's bad. I think it's great, but it seems like every week or so there's like 20 or 30 new Aussie bands releasing music. And it's like,
Yeah,
shit, thank God, I've got time to keep up with this, or thank God for Spotify's release radar, because if it wasn't for things like that, I wouldn't be up to date with all this new
yeah.
music.
So maybe because you grow so quick, you need some help and hand. So maybe time to go up to the next level. If it's too much for you, because there's not many people like yourself out there helping other bands, So um, maybe this could be your point to grow in what you love doing, So yeah, if it gets too much for you, sort of start forgetting to press the record button.
Oh, jeez. Oh God, I'm gonna cop this. It's like I have a new age to interview on Sam's podcast. Yeah, they were good. Graham just kept mentioning about the
Maybe you could
record
take it
button.
to show, you know, maybe you could take
No,
it
it's
to
great because we need people like you,
Yeah,
Sam.
yeah.
You know, you're doing a lot for Melbourne musicians, and yeah, our hats off to you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Oh no worries at all. And to all the bands out there, I love what I do. I honestly don't know what the future holds for this project that I'm doing at the moment. Like I'm actually excited to see what comes of it. You know,
Yeah,
if it's
Well, it's
the
that's all that matters, But, it's like you're doing the same as what we're doing in other bands. You're exposing yourself and growing slowly. So you're better off growing slow and then get there in one hit and then just fall apart. So baby steps, you could say, is good.
and I think as much as I love doing the audio and doing 3 or 4 interviews a week, I feel like just the one every 5 to 6 days is so much more manageable because it's like, all right, I've just got to, write out the questions, send the WebEx link to the band, put some music together so people can listen to some of the new music and all that. It's just so much more manageable doing one episode a week by a mile.
yeah, yeah. How many are you doing at the moment? One a week?
Just one a week at the moment. It's
Yeah,
gonna
okay.
it's gonna up to 5 episodes a month for June just because there's a backlog of interviews but that will still only be probably one every 5 6 days. So there might be one week where there's two and the rest are just one. So I reckon that's manageable. So but like,
Yeah.
for example, next episode, I've got a lot of nearly half the playlist done for next episode done before this one, so I'm already ahead of the game there.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then I just leave a few spots because I know every Friday there's going to be new music that drops, so obviously added in.
Mm.
But I think with this though, I think someone asked me, does the subscribers like, are you happy with the subscribers and viewers that you're getting? And I'm like, at the moment, it's awesome. At the moment, I'm more focusing on, am I enjoying what I'm doing? Am I having fun? And the answer
Mm.
to that is, I'm loving every minute of what I'm doing at the moment.
Mm. Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
And we're loving every minute of what you're doing.
And I'm loving every minute of this interview. It's going far too quick for my liking, though. That's the only negative. I mean, We have not been on for 45 minutes, surely. That's wrong up in my screen saying
Yeah, well, that's one question.
or two technically.
So, yeah,
All
we
right.
know what we're about.
uh, if you had to choose one support act, whether they're alive, whether they're not, whether they're from Australia or overseas, New Age want to support a band, who would it be?
It doesn't matter. You know, everyone, we're all the same. So any band's good enough to support. Really, you know. We don't mind supporting a new band, or we like to share it. And, yeah, and, you know, so yeah, if, yeah, so they got a good vibe. They're doing their thing, and you know, we'll be part of that. You know, so all bands are good. So
The very,
we got
very smart and good answer because if you're willing to play or support anyone, that means you're open to
we're
any
open.
suggestions.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't like to pinpoint a certain band. Everyone's doing the same thing that we love doing, so we're all the same. So regardless what music they play, we still respect for what they do. So yeah,
And also, a lot of people say, oh, if it's a metal show, you have to have 5 metal bands on the same lineup. Or if it's a rock show, you got to have 4 hard rock
mm,
bands on the same lineup. I somewhat agree with that statement, but I do disagree with it because I've seen some really good mixed shows that have
mm,
had maybe 2 heavy bands and the rest are sort of hard rock
yeah,
bands, and it's actually worked really well. So
that's right. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. We've been in that situation before too. So you know, people sometimes people feel threatened. They go, oh, we're not matching up with these guys or you know, this band, or, but everyone's playing their own style of music, so it doesn't matter regardless what if it's rock or you know metal. Um, yeah,
They still have their own sound.
everyone's got their own style,
Yeah.
so it all gels in together anyway. So
mm. And also,
yeah,
I think with that one different band or 2 different bands, it's like people might not have heard of these alternative
mm,
rock bands, and they go, "I didn't know what to expect coming to this show where the band's totally different to the headliner or the opening band." So
Yeah.
it's, I think in that case, it's very important. And look, I'd love to
so
have.
yeah, so,
Oh, sorry. I'd love to have 5 metal bands on the one lineup, but I'd actually also like to have a mixture.
Yeah.
well, some people have go in there with the open mind, you know, not just focus on if they're metal uh, um, influence and metal um, followers, they should go in with an open mind and accept the other bands as a different style, you know. So they mightn't like them, but you know, still show the respect that you know. But yeah, that's like
Yeah, it just exposes them to variety. So
yeah,
they're actually, I mean, you're doing yourself a favour, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's also the diehard fans of the bands that say they don't like change with bands. Like, I mean, Metallica's a perfect example. Everyone wanted Metallica to just be that thrash metal band for 40 years. I mean, they've got to adapt to a new audience. They can't just say, we're just
Well,
going to do thrash anthems for 35 years. They're already, at the moment, arguably the biggest band in the world and have
mm.
been probably for the last 40 years.
But the reason why is because they develop towards a change. So once you're consistently changing, you keep it up with the times. So that's why bands like the Beatles and Stones and like those they just kept going and so popular because they kept up with the times. And you need to change as a band, always develop your sound. Like now, the songs we write now, we're going a new direction again. So we're always developing from the early new age to where we are now. We're starting to create another part of it. Still a similar sound, but starting to move forward to a different sound. So, that's the hunger of writing music. So, and bands like Metallica, Stones, and all them, they've been up there for so many years. That's why they grow and create, and they just keep up with the times. And you never get bored with them because they're not playing the same stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, they're growing, No matter that they've been there like 40, 50 years, but they're still growing to a new sound, always adding something different. Like I love The Cure, right? The Cure are one of my favourite bands. From back in the early 80s, 70s to where they are now, mate, their sound now is brilliant. They were great then, they're even better now because they've grown to where they are now, you know. And I watch them on YouTube all the time. The concerts they're playing and how they're so relaxed, so professional, and pulling so big crowds. That's my dream is to follow bands like that. They're great. Yeah.
Well, and there's four perfect examples, and how big those four bands have been. Like, I mean, the Beatles and Stones, arguable, well, probably not even arguable anymore. They are the two biggest influential bands of the last 60 years. And then, I mean, yeah, The Cure, I mean, Robert Smith, and
Yeah.
I love some of the Cure's really old stuff, like not just Friday I'm in Love and Lullaby, but there's so much stuff that I'm like, this is actually really good songwriting, it's good
Yeah,
music, it's got everything.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, he writes a lot about love too. So, I mean, you think we're, goth. I wouldn't really call them goth, but that's what they classed them as in the early days. Regardless of what they are,
Now,
that's one support. That's one support I would love to do. Yeah,
uh, funny story actually about the name Robert Smith. I've actually got a friend called Robert Smith, and they're like, I said, oh, I know someone by the name of Robert Smith, and they're like, oh, the Cure frontman. I'm like, no, he's not the
yeah,
Cure frontman, but
yeah,
I was like, yeah, Robert Smith from the Cure is English. My friend's from Australia. I don't think, but no. But yeah, I think any band that adapts to different genres or styles get my tick of approval because I think I love to see it. Like I love Muse, I love Parkway. I mean, Parkway, a lot of debate over whether the new song is any good. Like I love the new Parkway Drive song, but there's a lot of fans that are just like, nah, it's not the old school Parkway. And I keep saying to them, they're the biggest band in Australia. They're the biggest metal band, or one of the biggest bands in the world at the moment. They have nothing left to prove to the scene, the world, anything. They've done everything that any band would dream of doing, and they can just make whatever music they want now.
yeah. That's a good level of it. Yeah, so well, they've done their homework. They've done their, they're respected in the industry that way. So yeah, but I'm sure they're in this. They think, well, we've still got a crowd to please, so they do it for the crowd too, not just for themselves. So, and that's what's important. You kind of say, listen, do enjoy what you're writing.
Because at the end of the day, the crowd, the punters are the most important people because they're the
Yeah,
ones that buy your tickets, buy your
that's
merch.
right. Yeah, it keeps them happy, and the band will be happy.
Mm.
Hmm.
And that's an indication after this interview. If you haven't checked out New Age, you must check them out. Check out other bands, but check out New Age because they're because Sam said so. That sounds like a motto or a preach or something, and that wasn't what it was coming across as. Best review slash feedback yourself as individuals or the band has received.
And the songs, so last one was Vince, well, Australian entertainment.
Yeah, we've just had a lot. We had Hush Hush. We've had, I don't know, numerous reviews, and they've all been really good. Yeah, we're really happy that they're happy. We love what we do, and if we bring it, bring that energy and that to the people, that's mad. And they've obviously heard it and felt it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, the last one of the interviews was said, like I said, influenced by the Clash, Zeppelin, and all this, which is still true. So our sound in the interview that we make our own sound. So, and like I say, now we're developing and moving forward to a different sound. So next interview, they'll put a different response in there to what the last one was. So, but it's all been positive, which is great. Glenn and the boys, they've done a tough job getting us all these interviews and reviews, and it's been good exposure, so it's great. And also, reading articles, it's all positive. You can't understand, so.
And any review, any feedback is important for bands. If it's constructive criticism or it's someone that's just said flat out, your music is awesome. I mean, I think a lot of people out there don't realise just how much it means to a band if you message them or tell them at their show or whatever it is that their music is awesome, inspiring. Because, it's priceless when a band or an artist hears that from someone.
Well, especially after you finish a show, right? You get on stage and people walk up to you, and we're not bragging, but they say, that was awesome. That's what I've been waiting to hear something like this for a long time. I've got taken back in the 80s or, we've got a sort of old sound sort of thing and sort of impact sort of live, so we rely on a lot of bottom end, like rhythm section and the guitar just cuts the vocals just out loud. And people love that, it's like, the energy, you just got to give them that energy, so, and when you hear it, it's great, so you feel even better, so, next show, all right, we'll be even better.
And you know yourself because you feel the energy on stage, like between us, and we know it. Like sometimes it's just like magic, and we just feel that magic, and we know, and then we just get a really good show. It's all about
and that comes out in the reviews too.
It also comes out on stage as well. Like if you guys are loving it and having a great time, within probably not even a minute if a band's loving what they're doing. And the bands I've seen, it doesn't even take me probably half a minute to realise that they're having a great time and having fun with what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what's important, The last thing you want is to go and see a band that's all quiet and all, so people pick that up straight away. So.
And there are bands that I've seen, thankfully no Australian, so the Australian 100 from 100%, great sense. I've seen a couple of international bands, bigger names, that have sort of been like, they're good, but would I go back and see them again? Probably not, sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe they had an off night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and well, and obviously I'm not psychic, so I wouldn't know what's going on in their head or what else is happening in their life. They might have just had someone who's been ill in
mm,
hospital or just
Yeah,
passed away. You just don't know.
yeah. Well, it depends what they're doing. Like, touring. I remember when we used to tour, like the Ranger. You know, we do like a tour, go to Brisbane, Sydney, back to Canberra, and Melbourne. So, for instance, by the time you get back to Melbourne, you're straight into another gig, and you just so drained. So I can imagine doing a world tour. A lot of stress flights here, there. And by the time you show after show, you have a night off, you still haven't recovered from jet lag or you know, the gigs you've done all week, So it is hard for the band too. So I always look at it that way. If they're an international band, uh, they're playing good, you're enjoying it, but they're not expecting what you expect that, they're not up to the standard you thought they'd be. You've got to allow that into the situation too. So that's a hard thing.
Yeah, and as you said there, Graham, I mean, the whole touring schedule, like if you're doing a
Yeah,
world tour or even just a tour of Australia,
very good
like
time.
it
Yeah,
would easily take a toll on anyone. I mean, and Australia's so far from sort of Europe and the
yeah,
States and Canada and all those countries, it's sort of like jet lag would be on so many bands' mind because, you know, US to Australia, I think 16-hour flight on a direct
yeah,
flight.
yeah. See, the agencies and record companies, they know what it's like, but they're pushing it. They need to push the band to exposure for record sales. So, and the band's the one that suffers, because they love doing what they're doing, but they get pushed to the max. That you know, it's just it's just too much of a body. And then it starts reacting with other band members and start putting over each other's pockets, and it gets a bit stressful. It just goes on. That's why the last band I was in, when we were doing all that, mistake we made was kept working. What we used to do is, like most bands, the big bands do, they have a break, right? Go do their own things, right? And then come back and
so they don't
continue.
burn out.
So,
Because the last thing as a musician or an artist to do is you do not want to burn yourself out because
yeah,
then it just doesn't end up being fun for anyone.
yeah.
Whether
Well, that's like us. If we haven't got any shows lined up, so say like we've been rehearsing for say a few months and we've got a show, we do a show, um, then you do another show, another one. Then we normally don't do a practice if we do a couple of shows in a row. So we have a couple of weeks off, right? Then we get back in and rehearsals, and we're fresh.
Yeah,
Right? And then we start playing again. So, and we always have that break. And if we haven't got any gigs lined up, every week, we rehearse every week, we say, oh, we've had, say, 4 rehearsals, let's have a next weekend off. Right? And then the following week we get back into rehearsals and then have a gig. So um, that's how we like to run it. So, yeah, because you do get stale. Like I've been playing this song for a long time, and I get stale. Playing a rehearsal, big rehearsal, big. I like to have a break too.
uh,
Yeah,
definitely and very sound advice to anyone out there that is in a band or about to start a band. Funnily enough, we're on to that next question because uh,
uh-huh.
what advice would you give to bands and artists starting out in the music industry?
Have a break when you're working too much. Yeah. No, just enjoy it.
Enjoy it, rehearse and
Yeah.
rehearse. But yeah, have fun. Like at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
Be serious about it, but don't take it to heart if there's a lot of letdowns, you know, because it's pretty heartbreaking and stuff, you know. Keep opening that door, knocking on the door, just keep going at it until something happens. Yeah.
And always take opportunities too, I think, because if you say no to a support slot, it might not come around again.
Um,
Or if it does, it might be, 2, 3 years down the track.
Yeah,
let's see, it doesn't matter if you're playing to 2 people or 500 people.
yeah, you play the same.
Just play the same gig.
Play the
So,
same.
just because there's 2 people out there doesn't mean that you don't want to put your 100% in, you know, because those 2 people are still important. For what
Yeah,
it is
plus
to
you're going
play.
up there, you're enjoying yourself. Just
Yeah.
enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Just treat it as a party up
Mm.
there and enjoy it. So,
That's
so
what we
you
do.
have fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we've got a small crowd, we just sort of have
Let's
fun,
just have fun.
crack jokes, you know, and just, you know,
Every
have
experience
fun.
is an experience, you know.
And then when there's, you're playing in front of a big crowd, you're more serious, but you're sort of still enjoying that energy, you know? So yeah, you go with what's the nice when the crowd is, you know.
As strange as this sounds, I reckon I'd be more nervous playing to 2 people than it would be to 500.
Oh no, 2 people is good. It's fun, you know, like because you get them involved, you know, like remember we did the work, there's 2 people there, and there's a guy sitting in the corner, and he's going, yeah, good stuff, you know, all this, and we sort of,
Like you interact, yeah,
yeah,
you can
we
really
interacted.
interact.
As he was, because she was singing, so yeah, and I said, yeah, thanks for coming on buy a beer after the gig, you know, sort of like that. So just little things like that which really matter, you know. Where it's 500 people, you sort of.
You're not going to buy 500 people.
Oh no! I don't even want to do the maths of how much
Yeah,
500 beers
you
would
just,
cost.
But yeah, just every gig, just enjoy it, and it doesn't matter if there's 1 or 100. It doesn't matter, man. Just get up there and do what you do, and yeah, have fun.
Another thing that I got pointed out is with the people that are there, like let's say it's 5 people, they could have been anywhere else on that night
yeah,
in
100%.
Victoria, Australia, wherever it is. They have come to your show. That's pretty
yeah,
special for a band if those five
yeah,
people. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. You don't want to make them feel oh, yeah, well, you know, they don't give it back, you know, the band doesn't give it back, you know. 'Cause,
no, do that.
you can't have that attitude, you know. It's like, you know, 2 or 5.
Yeah, we played to hardly nobody, but
Mm.
you know, they went at the time, and
Yeah.
it's more practice for us. And
Well, when was it? Like a couple of years ago or a year ago, we did a show, afternoon show, and the only ones we played to, there was 3 bands, and the 3 bands played to each other.
yeah, yeah, so that happens.
It happens on a Sunday afternoon, you know,
Yeah.
winter day, no
Yeah.
one goes out, you know, so, you know, the 3 bands just stuck around, we played, with each other, you know, and supported
Supported
each
each other, and
other, you know, it was good.
still building relationships.
Yeah.
It's all good. You know?
Yeah. And then the next show, you're playing with heaps of people, you know, so it weighs itself out. So, yeah, it's the people that come and just, take, going with an open mind, you know, see positive and keep at it, you know, don't give up.
Nah, very, very, very true. Well, I've really only got one question left, and then, of course, Lizzie and Graham turned the tables on the interviewer. And we have got time to ask a question too. I didn't realise we were getting through it so quickly. So, oh, sorry, got a bit of a cough there. That's not COVID if anyone's listening.
Oh, well,
Where do you see New Age in 5 years' time?
We joke about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden.
Headliner.
Well, aim for the
Where I
argue.
pay for you, where I pay for you, Sammy. I'll put your name on the door.
You just got to
Madison.
feel like the things, you never know. You know, got to visualise things, create, let them manifest.
Song we're still playing and enjoying what we're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, still
Absolutely.
giving support out and people supporting us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being alive would be great.
You never know. Like that's like with Madison Square Garden. You just never know what's round the corner. Like 5 years is actually a long time, and
So, yeah. It is.
Yeah, a lot of songwriting in 5 years to get there. Yeah, but yeah, it is. It's like but you're gonna keep like, going back to the last bit. You're gonna have an open mind. Just we've got a direction and we stick to that. So um, that's how at the moment we just have to get our songs out released, playing live and writing new songs. But whatever comes our way, we'll look at it, analyse it, and if it's good for the band, we'll go with it. Not getting all the details from there. So, but whatever's good for the band, that's where we look to be in 5 years' time.
no. And I mean, now is probably the best time. Like, I mean, Australian music's been pretty dominant for quite a number of years, but I feel like now is probably the time to break into the scene, maybe overseas for a lot of these Aussie bands, because I mean, there's so many bands that are playing not just shows overseas, but actual tours, which is really awesome to see.
Yeah, yeah. If you get that opportunity, you've got to jump on it. So, yeah, but whatever exposure you get overseas, it'd be great.
Mm.
Obviously, going back to Laneway, probably get the chart every month, what's getting played where, and who's listening to it. So, you don't know what will happen with this next song that we release. But Wise Man's sort of like the introduction for Crazy, so hopefully we go up to the next level and just keep moving up.
Yep.
Well, anyone's going the only way the only place we're going is in Madison Square Garden. Nah, just move forward.
Yeah.
To what's the saying? 2 steps forward. No, I've stuffed that saying up already.
Back too forward.
Yeah,
Back too forward.
that's right.
And,
Yeah.
Step forward. But it's all good, like just happy to be gigging around Melbourne, like doing our thing. Like it really that just is fulfilling.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that all sounds promising and all good, and a good look on things as well as a band. All right.
Like no new lineup changes.
No. So, yeah, 2 females, 2 males. Yeah.
So that's all right. Well, Sam's asked Lizzie and Graham the questions, and we have got time too. If Lizzie and Graham have anything they want to ask the interviewer, fire away.
Yes.
What made you start to do these podcasts and support live music?
Love it. And I never get sick of answering this question. And I don't like mentioning COVID, but unfortunately, in this answer and story, have to bring COVID into it. So I used to do a radio show at a community radio station here in Gippsland. COVID happened, lockdown, obviously couldn't do radio shows. Don't know why, given it's in a pretty safe space. But there was 2 options. I'd either record my show from home and then send it in, or I just wait out the 4 months. So I decided to wait out the 4 months, but then actually saw a friend do a test podcast on SoundCloud, and I'm like, this is actually a really good idea. Why don't I just do a test audio podcast? If I don't like it, so be it, but just try something new. And yeah, the rest is history with the podcast.
Yeah. And you've interviewed like hundreds of bands, haven't you?
Yeah, like bands from all over Australia too. Like, it's funny that I looked through my next 7 interviews. 6 of the next 7 interviews are, funnily enough, from Melbourne bands, and that hasn't happened for a long time, which is awesome. But it's like, and yeah, a couple from Gippsland, one from Gippsland, one from Ballarat, and then the rest of the 4 are from Melbourne, and then one in Queensland. So yeah, it's a good mixture.
So, have you got enough time to spend with your pets?
No more my pets. Well, it won't take long, Graham, because I don't actually have a pet.
So what, are you alone, or with you involved with someone, or you like to be?
No, I'm literally probably one of the only people I know that is still single at 39 years of age. And
There's plenty out.
I'm not really.
Do you see if you got involved, or just it would take you away from what your passion is?
I've got to be careful how I answer that question, because this is going to be on YouTube. Look, I don't want to sound picky and harsh in that, but I think if I was to find the right girl, they would have to have not 24/7 interest in music and going to live music, but just maybe let's say a 50-50 situation where they have the passion and like attending music gigs, but I don't expect someone that I get involved with to be 100% behind the music scene. But to answer Lizzie's, I actually didn't answer Lizzie's second part. I answered the podcast part, but the second part, why I got into supporting live music, just a lot of my friends actually are in bands, and I went to a gig one day after COVID lifted, and I said, oh, gee, this is a bit nerve-wracking going on your own to a gig. And then, like, that gig was great, caught up with so many people that now I would call some of my best friends in the scene. And I said, why can't I do that? Like, why can't I go to gigs on my own? Yes, it's nerve-wracking because you might not know anyone, but most of the bands that I've come across, I haven't even approached because they're just like, Sam, I'm like, how did you know who I was before I even approached you, sort of thing. So, and they're happy to have a chat, and I've never stumbled across a band that's been rude or arrogant. There are some out there probably, but
Yeah.
Well, it's good because that's what you want. Is and while you're doing interviews and get invited to venues and shows, you'll never feel out of place or alone. So it's like you coming to our show, right? We're all parts, and introduce you to people that we know.
yeah.
It's it goes, and that's our format. And then, no matter if you go on your own or with someone else, you'll still never do it. So
I think, as strange as this sounds, and a lot of people won't do it, I think going to a show on your own in some ways is better than going
Mm.
with people, because if you go with people, like, and they want to go off and do something else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, you can still entertain your own
Mm.
interests. Yeah, 100%. I get that.
And I think, that's what I love about the local scene here, is that there's so many characters, there's so many people you meet that, you know, had you not been in a band, had you not been a podcaster, that sort of thing, a lot of these people I probably wouldn't have stumbled across. Like, if it wasn't for Glenn and the YouTube channel, I wouldn't have come across New Age at all, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I've loved getting to know Graham, Lizzie, Cole, and when I get to meet Susie down the track, it would be great to, keep this contact with bands. And I
Yeah.
love staying in contact even after the interview. A lot of these bands that I've interviewed, I have genuine contact probably at least once a month.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, it's good because you're on a Facebook page, on Messenger, so you always pop it up in our site. So it's good to always I like a lot of stuff what you write up there, always liking or put a comment in there. So keep in touch. So even before like it's been like 5 weeks or something since last time we spoke or something. We spoke on Messenger, previous time. So I'm certainly topics, Yeah, so that's good, Keep keep in touch with everyone. Everyone does the same, So yeah,
it's good.
There is
yeah,
one. There is one thing I don't like about interviews, and this is no exception. Is the actual time it has to end, because
uh,
I just love sitting here and chatting to Graham and Lizzie. It's just like, it can't have been an hour and 20 minutes
It
already,
does.
can it?
yeah.
Where the
That's
fuck
good.
did that time go? That first half an hour felt like 30 seconds. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Mm." But
Well, it's like a tea party, isn't it? You're sort of sitting there eating scones and drinking tea or
yeah, except
whatever.
it ain't scones, but it ain't tea.
I'm drinking a
Yeah,
Big
yeah,
M. You can't see it on my actual screen. The Big M's out of the way because I worry if I have the Big M anywhere near the laptop or the microphone and I
Yeah,
accidentally spill it,
yeah.
might be an issue
no,
there.
like strawberry one. What's it? The strawberry you're drinking, eh?
Uh,
Can't
but
drink it. It fills in my stomach. You won't get in that part of it.
Well, Lizzie and Graham from New Age, it's been an absolute pleasure, as it was last time. This time, no excuses. It will be uploaded with Crazy at the end
That's
within
awesome.
24 hours.
No, thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you so
What do you
much,
think of the
Sam.
song anyway? Like crazy, yeah,
I liked Wise Man. I feel like Crazy's just gone that next level.
yeah. Yeah, well, we'll have to come back on board when we talk to you about that when it's released. If it's possible when we
Yeah,
get
wait,
squeeze
he's only doing one a week at the moment. And he's busy. There's not a 100%.
maybe we can squeeze it in.
uh, there are a couple of things, like with the band's interviews and that. Like, I've got a backup list, so because people have cancelled for
Yeah,
reasons out of my control. So, and that's no disrespect to them. They've had
no,
other commitments, and there's times where I've had to reschedule an interview with
yeah,
bands, and as long as you give me 24 hours notice, easy
yeah.
done.
Well, once we know a release date, I'll get back to you. We'll work from there. So yeah, But yeah, this today again has been awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
No worries, Graham and Lizzie. And
We'll
for,
always support you. So,
yep,
yeah.
even if I don't press the record button.
Yeah, still support you, Sam.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Absolutely.
I thought I'd throw that in
Yeah,
the end.
it's all good.
But please, everyone out there, do check out New Age and look out for Crazy when it does drop. Check out their other stuff as well. And Graham and Lizzie, enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon, and we'll chat again soon.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you,
for your
Sam.
time, Sam. And look
No
after yourself.
worries. Same to you.
Right.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.